Hey everybody, so in this video, as promised, I'm going to discuss XRP Ripple. We're going to have a look at XRP news today, and then we're going to have a look at XRP live in terms of technical analysis. We're going to have a look at the XRP price at the moment, and we're also going to discuss XRP price predictions going into 2021 and then further into 2022. We're seeing a lot of sensational news articles at the moment. Now, if you're invested in XRP already and have been for a long time, I can imagine it's very uncertain times at the moment. So you're probably quite worried, or you may have sold out already. But what I'm going to share with you today is basically we're going to concentrate on sometimes not following news articles, and sometimes that could be the worst thing you could do because you may have the opposite scenario play out, which is actually an accumulation of XRP. So don't assume automatically that everything going on with the SEC at the moment is automatically bad for the next few years. So let's get straight into it now. And also I'm going to assume that you have some experience of cryptocurrency. If you don't worry, I'm going to do a detailed in-depth video for beginners in a separate video. But let's have a look at what we're seeing at the moment. So on Coinbase, some of you may also be trading on there. You can see on Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 at 10 a.m., there will be suspension of XRP trading. Note, by the way, that doesn't affect whether you can deposit or withdraw from Coinbase with regards to XRP. You can still do that. It's just a trading suspension. So that will affect Coinbase Pro as well. A lot of you who may already be using that, it's fantastic to use because there's a lot less in terms of commissions as compared to Coinbase.com. So what are the sensational news articles we're seeing at the moment? Well, stuff like this, the beginning of the end for Ripple and XRP. Another one here, Revolut warns that cryptocurrency XRP could become worthless in time. What it said specifically in the Forbes article was the outlook for Ripple and XRP in the coming years looks bleak, with some cryptocurrency investors expecting XRP to continue its long-term decline that has seen it lose over 90% of its value since its early 2018 highs. We're also seeing this scenario at the moment where a lot of larger Ripple investors are attempting to sue. Now, before all of this happened, Ripple was the third or fourth largest cryptocurrency, and I'll show you in a moment the market cap of Ripple so you can get an idea as compared to Bitcoin. And by the way, this is the main crux of the case here. So Coinbase, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the US, said last week it would stop selling XRP to the public after the SEC sued Ripple, alleging it misled investors by selling more than $1 billion of the virtual tokens without registering with the agency. So if you have a look here, you can see the market cap now and the comparisons. Unbelievable, the market cap now of Bitcoin. Have a look at that, 646 billion US dollars. So well on its way to $1 trillion, whereas only a few months ago, it was around the $200 to $300 billion mark. But you can see here, XRP, even now, and a market cap of 11 to 12 billion US dollars. So still third or fourth largest. So at the moment, for everything cryptocurrency related, I tend to use Coinbase. Very, very easy to use. And I love the ease in which you can deposit and withdraw, and the fact that you can actually connect it to PayPal now as well. And the fact that the commissions are very low where you use when you use Pro Coinbase. Now, if you'd like a step-by-step guide on how to use Coinbase, especially if you're newer to cryptocurrency, then let me know. I'm more than happy to do a detailed kind of video on that. But basically, that's what I've been using. And recently, what I've been doing, only actually in the last kind of 3 or 4 days and a little bit last week as well, is I've been accumulating XRP, and I'll show you why I've been doing that right now. So we're gonna scroll out first and we're going to go on to a daily chart just to give you an overview. I have the volume bars there below at the moment as well, and I'm going to keep them on for now, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Obviously, we had that massive high all the way back in 2018 where XRP Ripple got to over $3. Since then, it's been completely corrective until we had a breakout last year, and that was at the beginning of November. And then when we got into midway through December, that's when the news started to come out. But what I find interesting here, a couple of things before we get on to current analysis. One was the clear volume breakout we saw here. Obviously, this is in hindsight, but we can keep an eye on this type of breakout again. By the way, if you've been enjoying my stock market, gold, silver, and cryptocurrency updates, please help support my channel by clicking on the join icon below this video. This means I can keep providing important updates as and when needed, especially if there are any breakouts or breakdowns in certain markets. If we go into a smaller time frame, so let's go onto an hourly chart. You can see around 16th of November, that was a clear breakout here in terms of volume traded on this particular exchange. Now that's important to note there, because if that happens again, that can be a very, very bullish signal. We've been seeing many similar kind of signs in Bitcoin as well. And also the reason I'm keeping an eye on the all-time high that we saw is we did see Bitcoin break out significantly. Now I know fundamentally it's a completely different type of cryptocurrency. However, that's important to note as well, because a lot of people believe that we'd never get back to Bitcoin highs either, and it has now happened. So why have I been accumulating? Now, this is all a risk reward trade. The first thing that got me excited was when I was seeing headlines like this. And the good thing about cryptocurrency is, and let me just give you an example here. With cryptocurrency, you can hold for the long term. So when you actually purchase cryptocurrency, for example, from somewhere like Coinbase, so let's say you make that purchase and you hold in the Coinbase software, then what you can do is you can actually move that cryptocurrency over to a ledger. So it's kind of like a USB stick, for want of a better word, and then you can store it there for a long period of time, almost how you store gold or silver coins. So if you're not terribly bothered by short-term moves in a particular currency like XRP, and you're looking to the long term, so maybe in 3 or 4 months time, 6 months time, what about maybe after a year or two when all of this SEC stuff, maybe it's all sorted out, you can easily then transfer your cryptocurrency from a ledger back to Coinbase, and then you can easily deposit or withdraw, do what you want to do to your bank account or even PayPal. And PayPal has made everything so much easier now. So the fact that they've withdrawn trading, how important is that? Well, that's kind of a topic for debate. And in my opinion, if you're thinking about cryptocurrency as a store of value, then you shouldn't be particularly worried about that. Now, is there a chance XRP can indeed go all the way to zero and a lot of these sensational headlines are correct? Yes, absolutely, that's possible. It's all about probabilities here. But this is why I'm so fascinated by XRP right now. And I'm going to drop onto a 4-hourly time frame just to show you. Now, I'm going to switch actually to a log chart so it's kind of easier to demonstrate. Now, the move I'm interested in is the March lows all the way up to that high we had in November. One way to look at this, you can clearly see there's 3 swings here, one there, and one here, the kind of sharpest and most parabolic. Now, one way to look at this is this could be an impulse wave up. So it could be a couple of ways you could describe it, but it could be potentially a leading diagonal up. Now, if that's the case, what we will have is 5-wave move up. If you're looking at Elliott wave, then we get a correction back down, which doesn't break the previous low. So it doesn't break that March low we had of around 11 cents. Now, we may get a little bit lower. We might go back to some of these lows at the 17 level. That's absolutely possible. But then we will get a continuation. If that happens, then we will at minimum break this high of that we saw in November of 78 and move up from there. And very likely, much like Bitcoin, in time to come, we could actually even challenge $3 highs. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but technically, that is possible. That's why I'm intrigued by this, because of the risk reward potential of that. Because if we're talking about just getting back up to here, that's already 4x your money here, 4x, because at the moment we're around the 20 mark. And if we're getting obviously to the $3 level, that's more than 10x, maybe even 15x. Now that's the positives, but let's obviously have a look at the negatives as well. And let's get onto an even smaller time frame, onto a 15-minute chart. Now you can see the sharp correction there from December back down, and we got that significant low printed just before the new year on the 29th of December. Now, it's difficult to say whether we're still correcting, and one possibility is the full correction actually ended here, and this was actually a first impulse up, so the beginning of something potentially. And what's really good, hopefully might help, is in the literally just the last few hours, you can see I was talking about volume, we actually had a volume breakout. So let me zoom in a little bit. So you see here, just in the last few hours, we had a volume breakout, and it was an early sign there, and I had actually bought some more here as well, some more XRP Ripple, and we actually did spike briefly to 29-cent mark. And if this is the beginning of the next move up, then it could be quite significant. But what's the other great thing about this? The other great thing is if we're still correcting, what we might see, let's say we had another leg down and XRP maybe was going back to zero. Well, the other great thing is nothing moves in a straight line. So what you tend to get, even in a correction or an impulse up or down, is you tend to get pullbacks and corrections. corrections in the opposite direction. So what I mean by that is if we're still correcting and we've got another leg down, what I might expect in the short term is for XRP to actually correct upwards first, possibly to 40 or 50 before another move down. So let me just draw a horizontal resistance level here. So this may be an important level here, 43 cents. So we could actually move back up. But what's great in my situation, because I've been accumulating down here, is I could still sell there for significant profit, possibly even 2x. So that's the kind of minimum positive potential. Now, what if it just kind of breaks down and falls down from here? Well, the great thing is to get out of my trade if I wanted to, and I wanted to wait a few weeks, if it did drop all the way to, let's say, 10 or 11 cents, where I know there will be significant support anyway. Well, if I wanted to close my position, if I wasn't keen, then I would lose 50%. So let's say for argument's sake, you put 10K on this, $10,000. Let's just say for argument's sake. Well, then you'll cash out here for 5,000 and you'll have lost 5,000K. But with regards to risk reward, what is the upside potential here and what are the probabilities? That's not something I can determine for you because I have my own kind of opinions on that. But for me, this was what I was doing. I was actually calculating worst case scenario, best case scenario, and it makes complete sense to me to actually consider this investment. By the way, let me know if you have any questions on that. I am keen to do a completely separate video where we go into risk reward in a lot more detail in terms of the actual calculations you'll be considering. It's not as simple as my risk is 1 and my reward is 4. You have to factor in the probability and the alternative scenarios also. With cryptocurrency, there is always a risk long term that you could lose everything. But I mean, there hasn't really been many major cryptocurrencies that have gone to zero as yet anyway. But also you have to factor in the upside. So let's say you just had $100 to invest. Would you be bothered if you lost all of that? Even if there was a slim chance that could 10x or 50x. So I hope you see what I mean there in terms of risk reward. As always, this is not financial advice. I do this video obviously for entertainment purposes, but I let you know what my opinion is and what my kind of thought process is. And it looks like XRP will be quite volatile over the coming days, so I'm keen to do another update as well. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you hear about any new updates I have. Thanks very much for listening.